Hello and welcome to BRITE TIMES. Today in our nuclear series The Bomb, we're going to look at what a nuclear bomb is made from and what different types there are. As we've said in previous episodes, we're not nuclear scientists and consequently we're not looking to make this complicated. So here's what we do know. We've probably all heard of the different terms to describe nuclear weapons. Atomic bomb, A-bomb, nukes, hydrogen bomb, H-bomb, thermonuclear bomb, dirty bomb. We all understand that these are not necessarily the same thing. But what if it is the case that there are big differences? Right, best we start with a quick explanation of what a nuclear weapon is, so we all understand each other. It's an explosive device that derives its destructive force through either a fission-only nuclear reaction or a combination of both fission and fusion. Now we'll take a closer look at what these two types of nuclear reaction are shortly. However, put simply, all existing nuclear weapons derive some of their explosive energy from a nuclear fission reaction. And that doesn't matter if it's fired from land, air or sea. It's the same effect on detonation all the time. Okay, next. Nuclear weapons are vastly more powerful when compared to conventional bombs. This is because nuclear chain reactions cause huge amounts of energy from relatively small amounts of matter. To start, let's talk TNT, the standard explosive we use in conventional weapons, and what it's used to compare the explosive power. So let's create a reference point. What can 1 kilogram of TNT do? Well, under controlled conditions, 1 kilogram of TNT can obliterate a small vehicle. Now, you may have heard of the terms kiloton or megaton being used when describing the power of explosions. You know, like the nuclear bomb that was detonated over Hiroshima was blah 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 kilotons. Right, it was actually 16, but we're going to get there in a minute. Don't panic. These terms are just about the size multiples of nukes, like 10 times or 100 times versus the equivalent amount of TNT. So what that means, 1 kiloton nuclear weapon can produce the same amount of energy in an explosion as does 1 kiloton or 1,000 tons of TNT. Similarly, a megaton weapon would have the energy equivalent of 1 million tons of TNT. Confused yet? We're getting there. Or, looking at it in a different way, a thermonuclear weapon weighing a little bit more than a modern day 2,000 pound JDAM conventional bomb can release energy equivalent to 1.2 million tons of TNT, or over 1 megaton. Another big difference is that a conventional bomb releases most of its energy in the form of the blast, so it's localized but lethal. Nuclear weapons, on the other hand, release 50% of their energy as the blast, 35% as heat, and 15% as nuclear radiation. In other words, a nuke will destroy everything within its massive blast range, whilst it also burns and irradiates vast areas outside of that as well. To put it very bluntly, nuclear weapons are far more destructive. This might be a good time to note that the largest ever nuclear test recorded was detonated by Russia in 1961. This was an estimated 50 megatons, or 50,000 kilotons. The Hiroshima bomb, which removed a guesstimated over 130,000 people from this planet, was just 16 kilotons, give or take a kiloton. What we're really trying to show you is, in 16 years, from 1945 till 1961, where Tsar Bomba was exploded. The world went from dropping a 15 kiloton nuclear bomb to a 50 megaton bomb. Now, the Americans in 1954 fired off Castle Bravo, and that was only 15 megatons. 15 megatons. Now, I know I'm almost being kind of flippant with these numbers, but they are just so hard to get inside your head just how big these bombs actually got. Now, as an example of this, what we want to show you are some pictures of Hiroshima, and I apologise to all the residents of Hiroshima, alright? Your city is a reference point. Whether you like it or not, it was the first place the bomb was dropped, in anger and on population. So, I'm going to show you some pictures from the excellent nuke maps, which you can all find online. What we did was, we put in the same parameters for every single bomb. First of all, this is the original bomb dropped on Hiroshima. It is localized. It's localized to Hiroshima. Now, we put up the B-83, which is the largest bomb in the American arsenal currently. Next one is the Trident D5, a submarine-based nuclear weapon. And lastly, if Tsar Bomba was ever dropped on land, a populated area, again, as you see, we've used Hiroshima. This is the devastation a 50 megaton or 50,000 kiloton bomb in comparison to the original, which is here at 15 kilotons. Crackers, isn't it? These days we've moved on from massive bombs to rockets and missiles with multiple warheads. These warheads are not just aimed at one city, they're aimed at multiple different areas near the target. But as you've seen with the development of the bomb, technology moves on. Although not completely obsolete, gone is the days of bombers carrying dumb nuclear weapons. In the days we live in today, it's all about precision munitions, multiple warheads, and maximum damage. Anyway, now we've gone through some general clarification points, let's look at the two types of nuclear reaction we've already noted at the start: fission and fusion. Fission. These were the first types of nuclear weapons used by the US in 1945 and are more commonly known as the atomic bomb, or simply the A-bomb. They used either enriched uranium or plutonium as the fissile material, where a mass of either one is forced into a chain reaction, which then drives an ever-increasing growth of further chain reaction, causing a cataclysmic explosion. So that's fission. So next is nuclear fusion. Like fission, they produce large proportions of their energy by relying on fusion reactions between isotopes of hydrogen. The more technical name for these isotopes are deuterium and tritium. Now, as the name suggests, these two isotopes are fused together, thus the word fusion. And from this fusion, massive amounts of energy are produced, and thus you had the composition of an H-bomb. It's at this point we could go down the wormhole of nuclear physics. But, as we said at the beginning, we are not nuclear scientists, and we're trying to keep it simple, and it's not a simple subject, so just bear with me, right? Now we're going to look at the different types of bombs. The first one we're going to look at is the atomic bomb. Now, the atomic bomb was the first bomb ever made. Exploded, as you've seen, in 1945 in the United States. The bombs were made out of uranium-235 and plutonium-239. Little Boy was uranium-235 and Fat Man was plutonium-239. Now, these were dropped from a plane and had different devices in order to make them explode. Little Boy, the first one, used what's called the gun method, whereas Fat Man used the implosion method. Either way, the implosion method is far more efficient. Now, both methods use compression to bring the fissile material to a supercritical state. Once that critical state is reached, it's boom! Good night Vienna, as the saying goes. Or in this case, it was goodbye Hiroshima and goodbye Nagasaki. If you want to read more about the Manhattan Project, then the best reference we found is the United States Department of Energy. They've got a massive webpage dedicated to the Manhattan Project and the development of the atomic bomb. Yeah, so go and have a look. It'll keep you occupied for hours. But this is only the beginning. The scientific steamroller was in full roll. Edward Teller, Ullmann Stanislaw, and additional help from John van Neumann started theoretical investigations to the concept of using a stage design to achieve nuclear fusion reactions in a bomb. And this brings us quite nicely to our second bomb, the hydrogen bomb, the H-bomb, or quite terrifyingly known as the thermonuclear bomb. The first successful test of a hydrogen was conducted by the United States on the 1st of November 1952 at the Eniwetok Atoll in the Pacific Ocean. This bomb, codenamed Ivy Mike, had a total output of 10.4 megatons. If we look at the Hiroshima bomb on our nuke map in comparison to Ivy Mike, that's the difference between an atomic bomb and a thermonuclear bomb, or H-bomb. Now I think it's fair to say, if you were in the gang and you had nuclear fissile material, you would probably choose to build a thermonuclear bomb over a plain atomic bomb. It just makes a lot more sense. You're getting far more bang for your buck, right? So I'm not here to argue the toss if there's any atomic bombs left in the world. Obviously developing nations are going to make atomic bombs first, and then what they will do is they will make thermonuclear bombs. That appears to be the logical progression in the aim to get nuclear weapons. So don't think for 1 minute that just because the hydrogen bomb had been built, the scientific steamroller had stopped. It hadn't stopped at all. Samuel T. Cohen, one of the men who's seen as responsible for our next bomb, the neutron bomb. This is known as an enhanced radiation weapon. Quite simply put, a neutron bomb is a type of nuclear weapon designed to release large amounts of neutron radiation whilst minimizing blast and thermal effects. The primary purpose of a neutron bomb is to incapacitate or kill enemy personnel whilst causing minimal damage to structures and infrastructure. Now there's a lovely quote in Wikipedia. It says, "It was seen as a cleaner bomb for use against massed Soviet armoured divisions, as these would be used over Allied nations, notably West Germany. The reduced blast damage was seen as an important advantage." Now you can work that one out for yourself. You might want to go to the Brandenburg Gate, if you survive, and take some pictures in your NBC suit whilst you're dying of radiation poisoning. Now it is without question that the Americans built and deployed neutron bombs. These were deployed in the United States. They were never deployed in Europe. European governments were not very happy about the idea of neutron bombs on their territory. Now, for whatever reason, the Americans continued to deny existence of and use of neutron weapons. The Cox report in 1999 stated the Americans had never deployed a neutron weapon, but everyone knows that's not the case. It's there on Wikipedia and various other sites for you to find out just for yourself. To make this even worse, the French and the Chinese are known to have tested neutron weapons or enhanced radiation bombs. Pakistan also has built a significant number of neutron bombs, and in August 1999 the Indian government stated it was quite capable of producing a neutron bomb. Let's make one thing very clear. Let's not be naive and think these countries have just got rid of their neutron bombs because it was a good thing to do. Every single nuclear country, I would assume, has or will be developing neutron bombs. Now you can shout and scream as much as you like in the comments about your country and neutron bombs if they haven't got them. Frankly, it's all out there. All you got to do is look. We've looked at atomic bombs, H-bombs, neutron bombs. Now all of these have been built and deployed. Lastly, we're going to look at something called a cobalt bomb. Now a cobalt bomb is a theoretical designed nuclear weapon. Now I say theoretical with a healthy dose of irony. a weapon of last resort, a weapon that would wipe out life on Earth, bar probably the cockroaches and some of the other very resilient things that live on our planet. Not forgetting everyone that's in a bunker. It is quite possibly the most awful kind of nuclear weapon. It's stated that the concept of a cobalt bomb was originally described in a radio program by our old friend Leo Szilard on the 26th of February 1950. He suggested that an arsenal of cobalt bombs would be capable of destroying all human life on Earth. This is very much disputed. But disputed as it is, it doesn't take away the fact that it is seen as a doomsday weapon. It almost brings us back to that very childhood experience of, well, if I can't win or I can't have it, no one's going to have it. And sadly enough, that is the way it is. That's where we are at. There are two types of nuclear bomb: fission, or a combined fission and fusion, and both are utterly deadly. Both deliver radiation, and both can be made even more deadly by deliberately increasing the amount of neutron fallout, or cobalt fallout, depending on your preference, of course. There's definitely a few things to think about here. Anyway, we hope we helped you understand where we stand with nukes today. But sadly, that was the last show in our series, The Bomb. We really hope you found it interesting and informative, if not terrifying at times. As I've said before, both myself and Tim believe everyone should be aware of the ramifications of a nuclear strike. Education is power, my friends. So let's hope calm heads prevail, because the consequences of the alternative are almost unthinkable. And on that note, the last thing I gotta say to you is peace and love to you all.